What's happening? Welcome back to RunThroughTV. It's Ben Sheppard here. Okay, today's guest, an elite fell runner, a firefighter, a father. He's just become the first person in 15 years to do something absolutely amazing. His name is Ricky Lightfoot. You might have heard of him. He's a very, very, very well-established fell runner. So the first thing I wanted to hear from Ricky was how he actually got into running in the first place.
Yeah, so I sort of came across it by chance, really. I was at school. I was probably about 14. The caretaker then used to go around to the year groups and take groups of kids out till fell races and the local ones. And I sort of jumped on with a load of my mates who went along to it, and I thought, oh, go along and give it a go. I'd done little bits of running in the past, but I'd never sort of done a competition outside of school cross country. So it was a typical January day. It was wet, horrible. It was raining. I turned up. I ended up getting lost, running about 20 minutes longer than I should have. But I finished, and I don't know. There was something about it. Like, I played team sports like football and rugby and other things, but just something about the finishing, feeling as though I had accomplished something, and I was absolutely caked up with mud and sort of sheep. And I don't know, something just really appealed, and it clicked in us, and I knew that this was something that I would do for a long time.
Okay, and on to now why Ricky is making headlines in the running world at the moment. I thought it best for him to explain exactly what race he's just won.
Loosely, the man v horse marathon is what it says. It's man against horse and rider. So there's a mass start for the runners who are on foot, and that consists of men, women and relay teams. They start 15 minutes before the horse, and this is just because of health and safety. And there's quite a lot of places on the course where the track narrows, so it makes it harder to pass for horses. The route doesn't follow the exact same for both runners, so the horses take a slightly different route, just because there's a lot of bits of single track and stuff, and obviously it would be dangerous for human and horse along the route, so it was easier to, for the horses to divert on little sections. But there is quite a lot where the horse will come past the runner. So what sparked my interest was in 2004, I'd never heard of the race before, but in 2004, it obviously became a big thing because a guy called Hugh Lobb beat the horses for the first time. And it just so happens that year that William Hill had put up 25 grand for the first human to beat the horse, and that was the first year, obviously. And that's how I got to hear of it, and I thought, wow, what a I'd only been running for about 4 to 5 years then, but I thought, what a cool race to be part of, to pit yourself up against a horse and rider, which is like, when you think about it, it's crazy, like.
So yeah, you're racing a horse, and if that wasn't enough, well, let's just say Ricky's preparation wasn't ideal.
We'd had a family holiday cancelled because the kids had got chicken pox, so it meant that we rescheduled it, and I arrived back on the morning of the race. I arrived back in Manchester for 4 a.m. I just spent 4 hours with a 1-year-old sitting on my lap, which wasn't, like, for somebody who's 6'4", sitting on a plane is like horrible anyways, but with a 1-year-old on your lap, it's like even worse. So yeah, I got into the airport. We were delayed getting off because we were waiting for buses. We were delayed getting our bags, so I didn't get away from the airport until after 6. And it was a 3-hour drive over, and I was absolutely shattered, to be honest. And I thought I could maybe sneak a little sleep when I got there, but it was pretty full on. I had to find the registration, get my number and stuff, and by the time all that happened, it was 10 o'clock, and I was ready to warm up and get ready for the race.
All right, and now on to the actual race.
So I started, and I was pretty chilled. I sort of pulled away from the rest of the runners steadily, for the first hour or so, and I could see that I probably had a gap after an hour of maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't really expect the horse to pass us because they set off 15 minutes behind, and I thought they might get close to us towards the end, but not after an hour. But about an hour and 5 minutes into the race, I had my head down, it was raining, it was windy, and all of a sudden I heard horse, and literally the horse come galloping past us, and we're like shoulder to shoulder, and it was just crazy. The noise of the horse sort of galloping up the hill was like nothing I've experienced before, and even just watching it like go away from us up the gentle slope was like, it's just crazy. Yeah. So the horse and rider sort of stayed ahead of us for another sort of 100 meters, and the course became a little bit more technical. So the horse slowed down a little, and I caught the horse. I had a few words with the rider and that, and just said how impressive it was. And she said that they'd only started 7 minutes behind us. I don't know what for reason that was, but usually it's 15. She said it was only 7, so I was like, that confused us a little bit. But yeah, I passed the horse then, and she commented that she had a vet check to go through. So I didn't fully understand this at the start, but once I got to the end and they explained it, it made sense. So yeah, a little bit after that, I pulled away from the horse, but she had to go into the vet check. So when the horse is going into the vet check, they have to. The only way they can come out of there is that the heart rate of the horse falls before 60 beats per minute. So she could enter it and it's up at 90, and it could take 20 minutes to come down. I know that one of the horses, they come in at 72, and it took them 15 minutes to get under 60, and then they can continue, because the sort of the welfare for the horses is really important. And they check the shoes, the feet, they check the heart rate and everything, make sure the horse is all right. So yeah, so that gave me a chance to pull away again, and from then on to the finish, it was again uneventful. A lot of support out on the course, absolute crazy, and then into the finish, everybody was going mad, like, so that was a great experience. But yeah, crossing the line, I didn't really know that I had beaten the horse. Obviously that 7 minutes had to elapse. They then confirmed that it was only 7 minutes behind. So I had to wait on the start line to hear if the horse would be in the next 7 minutes, which again is like, I was just happy to be back in first position and not be passed again by a horse. But yeah, to actually beat the horse was it was pretty cool, to be honest.
And finally, I couldn't let Ricky go without hearing what his family and friends thought of when he rang them up and said, "You know what, I've actually done it. I beat the horse."
Yeah, well, I rang my partner, and she was actually, because she was with the kids, and we'd come in 2 cars to the airport, so she drove home, but she'd stopped in the service station, and they all had to sleep in the car because they were absolutely shattered. So she was like, I was on phone, and I was like, "So if I beat the horse," and she was like, "Oh my God, you're joking." And she was like, "No, honestly, I've beat the horse," which is like crazy. And yeah, she was chuffed to bits, and I sort of rang me. I told she was with me, but she rang me mum and dad and stuff, and I rang my boss at work, comes to a lot of races and that, and I rang him, and he's like, "Oh, that is absolutely mad!" Like,
huge thank you to Ricky for coming on Run Through TV. Do remember to go and follow him on Instagram, follow us as well, like, comment and subscribe to Run Through TV. And another big thank you on today's episode to Robert McCaffrey. Robert let us use loads of his footage of the race, so thank you so much to you, Robert. It's greatly appreciated.